there, and welcome back to the RC barn. Yeah, I'm holding my phone. Just a short little clip here. I don't know if you guys caught the short on the 50cc profile here, but if you haven't, here's a clip right here. So now that you watched that, we can kind of explain what happened and where things went wrong with why it would only run for, 2 to 3 minutes at a time. I thought it was a fuel delivery issue. I was absolutely wrong on that, but I've learned a lot going through the carburetor and that. So we'll turn you around and show you what's going on here. So I've already pulled the tank out because we're not going to run this tank. But basically, if you remember in the video where I was getting this thing ready to fly, I says I'll just loop these together, loop these two fittings together for the time being and get it running. Well, it worked for a little bit, but then the tank wasn't vented. Yeah, that was the problem. So it was creating a vacuum in here, and at some point in time the pump couldn't pump any more fuel and it died. So that's why it was doing what it was doing. So a rebuild kit was totally unnecessary, and I kind of did that wrong. I did it prematurely, taking it apart, and so I watched quite a few YouTube videos to see how the gaskets went and everything. I did rebuild it. You can see some of the gaskets here. The kit I got was this Walbro K20 WAT kit. It came with everything that I needed. A new pump, a new diaphragm on this, and new gaskets, new needle and seat, or needle. I didn't use the screens or any of the plug offs, and I cleaned the carburetor real good. And it wasn't that dirty inside because, 2 years ago I just rebuilt this thing. So anyways, after some time, I'm kind of embarrassed, but it took most of a day to most of a morning to get this carburetor back together to where it would actually pump fuel and start. So that was the end result of that. And I was fiddling with the settings on this, and I started out at like 1.25, and it was still not. It would start, but it wouldn't stay running. Went back and forth on, is it spark plug? Is it, ignition? Is it the battery's weak? Just everything that was just running through my mind. Things that could go wrong. And I did notice that I was getting an intermittent spark, so run to the the auto parts store and got a new plug, put that in there. Still wasn't getting a right spark. I could hear it clicking, but I couldn't see it. And then I realized that by taking the threaded end off of the spark plug that I thought I needed to for this clip was the problem there. So I put that back on and suddenly had spark again, but it was still a little on the intermittent side, so I swapped batteries. That fixed that. I went out 3 turns on the high speed and 2 turns on the low speed needle, which is, in everybody's terms, way out, way rich, but it ran, and I got it to stay running, and I just shutting it off, letting it cool, go another 1/8 of a turn in on both needles. And I finally settled in on, where it's running at now. Now, it is a little boggy on the low end. I'm still not quite there yet with that, but I'm just going to get it running and leave it where it's at right now. I can deal with that in the air. It takes a while for it to come off idle and actually die, so it's not 100%, but there again, once again, I'm no expert in this. With these gas engines, so I'm kind of learning as I go here. So anyways, we're going to do away with that tank, and I'm going to put a 14-ounce solvent tank in it. Now the only thing you need to do here with these tanks is get the gas conversion stopper kit. Again, the lines, the stopper, and all that won't work because this is for a glow engine. The gas will eat that like you wouldn't believe. So you got to convert all that over. You got to use, gas fuel line. I'll be using the yellow Tygons, what I've always used in the tank, and I'm going to go ahead and replumb this. We're going to vent this tank this time so we don't have that issue anymore. And I did notice that with the tank being up here, it's quite a bit higher than the fuel line, so I'm going to bring it ahead and drop it down here. Since this is a little bit of a smaller tank, it'll fit. I haven't decided what side I'm going to put it on, but it'll either be right there. Probably that's where I'll go for short runs on the fuel line, and that way it primes quickly. So anyways, I got some fixing to do. I'm going to do that here right now. I got to reattach the ignition module. The double sticky tape didn't work. I'm not surprised by that. My receiver fell down with all the vibrations, which won't be an issue once the attach is on. But I'm going to go ahead and glue this on there more permanently, since that's where it's going to live. Might even bring it ahead a little bit so I can get rid of this extension wire here and go direct. I only needed like another 1 inch forward or whatever on the ignition module to plug it direct. It's kind of silly to have that long wire on there, and when I can move the ignition module ahead a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take the battery I have in here out. I'm going to go ahead and run this guy. It worked just fine. I'm going to test it out real good. The batteries I bought, while they're supposed to be good, I guess, when you pay $10 for a battery, you get what you pay for, and sometimes they can't put out the amperage you need. So I don't know what's going on there, but it was completely dead this morning, and I charged it, and it didn't even charge for 10 minutes on the field charger to charge it up. Usually it takes about a half hour, 45 minutes when they're completely zonked like that. So I probably screwed it up by not charging it right away when I got them. I usually plug them into the wall charger over there for a couple days to get a nice little charge into them. So I'm going to do that tonight. I'll plug this into the wall and charge it overnight. So anyways, I got to do that, and then we'll get on to the elevator. I noticed that the left elevator has more throw than the right, so I got to adjust that. I'll kind of go through that with you guys here in a little bit. But off camera, I'm going to go ahead and build this tank and get it reinstalled, and then we'll fiddle with the elevator back there, get it fine-tuned, and then get a CG mark on here, get the CG fine-tuned. Anyways, I'm going to get on this tank, and I will bring you back when it's time to do the elevator here. Alright, so we got the tank all installed. I'll get this drill out of you guys' way. You can see I put a loop up here. Again, my experience, how do you vent a tank? Well, that's how you vent a tank. Go back, come back, go back, come around to the front, and go back around. Use a zip tie or Velcro tape to hold it in place. And that way this creates somewhat of a trap and stops fuel from coming out, and your tank's vented. So anyways, got that all installed. I moved it down so that way I didn't have a positive fuel pressure, fuel flow when going to the engine. That could be some of my runnability issues that I'm still kind of having. So we get it out to the field tomorrow. We'll play around with that a little bit. Not a whole lot. I want to get this thing in the air. So anyways, got that done. And I'm going to bring your attention back here to the back. I have not shown how to do this before, but I need my radio. Anyways, when you're running dual elevator servos like we are in this one, you need to make sure that they're running true together. And boy, there is not a good place to put you here. So anyways, we'll turn this thing on. I might have to get the drill out and drill a hole. Put the mound in. Make sure you have good battery when you do this, and So anyways, what I do is you can see my carbon fiber tubes here, and I just tape them onto the elevator here. It doesn't matter if they're, identical side to side. The biggest thing is to make sure you come back to a point here. And this will give you your fine-tuning ability to see. I mean, look how far that is off right now. And that right one's raising, and then the left one comes behind it. And what that'll do is that'll induce a right control. And that one's not going down all the way. And then down on the bottom, we got the same issue, but they're kind of meeting up. We might have to, that's pretty good there, but that could be, move this out of the way here a little bit more. Sorry about the close-up here. You can see we got some, is that in control linkage slop? That whole servo's up there moving. Wonder what that's about. Oh, I see what's going on. Loose servo screw. This is part of the process of just going through it and making sure everything's good before you finish. I must have not have drawn that all the way back up when I had it out the last time. Oh, stripped out screw. And that one's stripped out. That one's okay. We need some bigger screws. I don't know what happened there. Let's see if I can find some. I bet these are the next size down. Let's see what we got over here. Let's try one of these. And that's just going into plywood. Might have to go in there and reinforce that plate. This is what takes so long. A little taste of, setting the plane up. Back and forth with the screwdrivers. I need to do a very, very thorough shop cleaning service here. Can we just get a screw in there long enough to get this part of the process done? No, the shoulder's too deep. I think what I'm going to do is put a little glue down in there. So anyways, I'll bring it back when I got that resolved. So found another issue with it. We'll resolve it here real quick, and then we'll get on to showing this more. So I'll bring it back here in a minute. All right, that's much better. Ain't up having to screw in there. Got a little flexible mount in there, so tighten that up, and we got a lot better results now. So now we need to make damn sure that these are flat. You can see where they're kind of even. This one needs to, which one needs to, that one needs to go down a little bit. So we'll start with that. So we're going to adjust the servo arm to get just a touch it down. Find that screwdriver here. Like I said, you gotta be prepared to do just a touch of time here. So that needed to go. Like that. So I'll screw this in a bit. Get it all the way here. Oh boy. Guess I'm going to need a pair of pliers to hang on to it. The more time you spend, I know you guys can't see a whole lot, but I'm just going to screw this clevis in just a couple of turns. But what I was saying is the more time you spend here making this right, the better the airplane will perform. Okay, now let's see what we got. Make sure we're flat. I'm going to throw another little bit extra tape on that. Maybe. You can see here it's kind of raising up a little bit, and that's going to skew our measurements here. No. And you can do this with dowel rod too. You don't have to use carbon fiber. It's just as long as it's straight. Is the biggest thing, and there ain't no bows in it. That's why I like carbon fiber, because it tends to be pretty straight. I mean, on smaller models you could use couple ink pens, you know, whatever. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. So let's do a centering check. We still got some issues with that left. I don't understand this. Okay, not bad. Then we go all the way up. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't. Let me. And you can definitely see that I know the rudder's kind of in the way. See how far off those are? So we got more throw on the right than we do on the left. And this is where you need to make the decision. Do you put more throw into the left one or less throw into the right one? And I think I want right throw, not left. So we need more geometry there, and we've already got the pin loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw. This is the nice thing about these clevis, these Dubro horns that I put on here. Very, very minute adjustments can be made. So I'll release this. So we need more throw here. So it's further out on the servo, further in on the gear on the on this. So we'll crank her in a couple turns. 1, 2, let's go 3. 3 whole turns there. This might change our control throw distance a little bit. I doubt it. Try it again. We're close. We came within a half an inch, so that's helping that. I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have something goofy going on in the radio. Trying to remember what channels these were on. Let's see. Okay, definitely that one, those two. So you got 2 and 2. Do this other one here. 2 and 4. So let's do travel. Sure you got no stupid trim in this thing. Okay. Servo set. I don't know if this will work or not. Oh, we gotta go. But I spent some time here, and what I did is I took the left elevator servo out, found some problems with it, reinforced it, backed up the servo screws, so now those are all nice and tight. I just used some spruce on the plywood plate there and backed up the screws that I had, the holes that I had, to give it more meat to bite into. I think that's only 16th inch ply, so probably with the vibrations that the gas engine gives off, probably is not enough meat in there. I'm gonna do the same to the right one. Have not done that yet, but I haven't got that far yet, and that was not giving me problems yet. So we'll be doing that here this evening before this thing goes out to fly. So anyways, we're pretty close. I spent a lot of time adjusting the servo arms, getting those dialed in. I went ahead and dialed my rates in. This is low rate right here. This should be enough to at least get it up in the air and see how it's going to react. Here's my middle rates. That should be enough for general aerobatics. You can see they're following each other pretty closely there, and they're centering correctly. And then this is my high rates. I still got some adjustments to do up there to get the throws the same. The right one is still giving me a little bit of issues there, but on the bottom for down, they're pretty even. I don't think I'll be using this much. I usually don't use high rates a lot anymore. Quick tip there with rates. I like to set triple rates up on my setups. The reason for that is when you're flying, going for a test flight. It used to be back in the day, you got everything you could get on the throws. You either learn to fly it that way, but maybe on the first flight, you might throw them in one servo arm in, so you didn't have so much to contend with on a maiden voyage. Most of the time, I didn't do that. It never bit me, but with the modern day radios now with rates and switches and stuff, super nice to have that. I can take off on low rates, so that way I'm not fighting an out of control airplane, you know, that's you know, hard to manage. And as I get used to the flying, I usually end up on like the middle rate for aerobatic flying, like something like that. I wouldn't call myself a 3D'er. I'm playing around with it a little bit. I don't think this plane will 3D. I don't think the control surfaces are near big enough, and the servos aren't strong enough for it or fast enough. Maybe an upgrade in the future, but it's what I got for it right now. So, anyways, I would say that most of the time that this is probably more than adequate for general flying, hammerhead, stall turns, aileron rolls, snap rolls, you know, you name it, general flying aerobatics that I enjoy doing. I like the precision of it. Higher throws can be fun, but can stall out too on a plane. What I mean by that is they actually do the exact opposite when you get some speed up, and you know, you give it full throttle, full elevator and aileron to do a snap roll or something like that, and rudder. It can actually slow everything down and make it less crisp. So I've learned over the years that you don't need as much throw as you think you do to do general flying. So there's a little tip. I usually leave my rudder full going. I will probably try to get a little bit more rudder out of this. That seems a little lackluster for me, but for the most part, that'll be fine also for maiden voyage. I doubt it'll knife edge with that little bit though. I'd probably like a few more, another inch or two out of that. Let me take a look at that real quick and see where we're at there. So I'm all the way out on my servo arm, and I'm second one in on my, so I could go in one servo. Might have to change that horn. I think we're gonna leave it the way it is right now for the maiden voyage though. Just trying to get this thing up in the air and see how it behaves and everything, and then we can fine tune things as we go. So that's done. So one step closer to maiden voyage. I'm gonna shut this thing down and get my carbon fiber rods off. Pretty happy with the way that turned out. I think that's, yeah, I'll probably end up there for landing. So I'm gonna go in and do that other elevator servo while I'm got everything out, and then next up will be balance. We're just gonna do 25% of the cord, and you know, probably end up having to add some nose weight. Hopefully not a lot after moving the engine out. So I'll bring you back when I get all that done. All right, she's all ready. I got her balanced. I ended up screwing 4 weights up there in the nose. I don't know if you can see them or not. I zip tied them together and I threw some screws in there. That's temporary because I'm not sure that we're going to end up where we need to be at. So as far as balance goes, I measured 25% and that put me there. I'm about here. So that's about 25 to 30% in there. So I'll be all right. It'll be fine. I'm not going to throw any more weight at it unless it's flies grossly tail heavy. I've flown tail heavy planes before, so I don't think I'll have an issue with that. So anyways, got all the control throws set, motor's running good, tanks in, everything's reinforced. Just don't want to forget my hatches tomorrow. I'll obviously take this apart for transport, but yeah, I mean, that definitely saved some weight because I had all those weights on there before and it wouldn't even balance with the motor back behind, so it definitely helped. I'm not sure where we're at, but we're in that 12 to 15 pound range. I'm not gonna scale it. I think that's where we were at before. So anyhow, wish me luck tomorrow. I'll not sure when I'll get this video edited. It'll probably be, knowing me, it'll be all at once. So anyways, want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.